A racing pigeon that allegedly traveled almost 8,000 miles from the U.S. to Australia could soon be euthanized. Joe the pigeon, who is named after President-elect Joe Biden, has become the latest target of Australia's notoriously strict quarantine rules. The acting Prime Minister, Michael McCormack, says authorities will show no mercy.
I'm not aware of Joe's plight or flight or future. Happy to look into it and get back to you. Good luck, Joe. But if Joe has come in a way that has not met our strict biosecurity measures, then bad luck, Joe.
Bloomberg's Sibylla Gross joins me now from Sydney. So, Sibylla, how did we learn about this pigeon? This is such an odd, interesting story.
It really is. It's captured the internet in the last 2 weeks. Look, it started the day after Christmas here in Australia. A man called Kevin Kelly Bird, aptly named Kevin Kelly Bird, I should say, found this emaciated pigeon in his backyard with a little code on his leg. And curious about where this bird came from, because it was quite thin, Googled it to find that it matched the same number of a pigeon that went missing from a race in Oregon back in October. He thought this was quite funny, called up a local radio station, told the anecdote, but attracted the attention of the Department of Agriculture here in Australia, which wasn't really a good thing for the bird, because if this bird did indeed come from America, it would be a biosecurity threat. So the story kind of blew up on the internet, because obviously this bird flying like over 8,000 miles is a huge feat. And we've got the Department of Agriculture breathing down Kevin's neck, saying he might kill the bird, which was called Joe Biden, after the incoming president. So it's been a bit of a saga the last few weeks.
Yeah, you can't make this up. I mean, everything from the guy going on radio to the fact that the bird is named Joe. Australian quarantine authorities are notoriously strict. I remember reading about Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard trying to bring in their dogs. I think it was 2 Yorkshire Terriers into Australia a couple years ago, and that didn't end so well, did it?
No, pistol and boo. I don't think anyone would forget that. Look, the reason why we do have such strict biosecurity measures here in Australia is because there is a real threat here to farm gate production. We, of course, are an island nation, so we have natural barriers with the ocean. So there is a reason that they exist. There are lots of items that are intercepted, or thousands of items are intercepted every year, every day, on a daily basis, actually. And it's not just international foreign items that get intercepted. We even have state restrictions. So if you're crossing states, you can't bring certain fruits into other states for fear of bringing or introducing fruit flies. So a lot of the commonly intercepted items are like herbs, organic products, wood, pork, fruit, anything really that would potentially bring in a pest. On the topic of pork as well, that's something that authorities really like to keep an eye on, because African swine fever is a huge threat. Of course, back in 2018-19, that wiped out China's whole hog population, basically, which has had real world implications for the whole world, really. It's not just a domestic thing. It's led to China now buying lots of corn and lots of grain to beef up their pork supplies again, which is sending grains to an all-time six-year highs. So it's something that we take very seriously here, because we are an island nation.
Somehow every conversation about Australia ends up back to the rift between China and Australia, because it is such an overarching theme for the economy. Going back now to Joe the pigeon, there was this concern that the pigeon might be euthanized, but actually the story ends up well for the pigeon, doesn't it?
It seems that way, yeah. I mean, it kind of begs the question. It turns out the tag on the bird was a counterfeit. So people are positing that it's a counterfeit tag, which kind of begs more questions, to be honest, as to why someone would put a counterfeit tag on some random bird. But yeah, it does look like it is an Australian pigeon after all. So looks like Joe the pigeon will live to see another day.
That's good news for Joe the pigeon, especially on the eve of Joe Biden's inauguration here in the United States. Sibylla, thank you so much for joining us. Sibylla Gross joining us from Sydney with this really interesting story about a fake U.S. leg band getting this pigeon a reprieve at the end when it had been thought that it might needed to be killed.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.